Yeah, I want to talk about how the US dollar is better than Bitcoin and any other cryptocurrency. But please, before you start furiously typing in the comment section, ready to just rip me to pieces, just give me a chance to explain where I'm going with this. And I think if I do my job right, maybe I'll get a little chuckle out of you. And I think we're going to find some common ground because what I'm getting at, I don't think would be shocking to see happen in regards to the US dollar. But in this regard, the US dollar would still be better. Now, to set up context, this is all coming from a place of, you know what, for those people out there, and I think if you've been around social media or just really talking with people, there are some people out there, there are many people out there, and they are all in. It may not be Bitcoin, but in some other cryptocurrency, I mean, they are all in, and they are all in from the angle of it is bulletproof. It's decentralized. Governments can't influence it. It is limited, right? With Bitcoin, that is at least. I know some other cryptocurrencies have different supply things, but with Bitcoin, it is limited. There's no more supply. So you're not going to have, the Federal Reserve of cryptocurrency coming in and just creating a bunch of coins. And I agree with all that. There are some very, very positive attributes. You have the blockchain technology, which has a bunch of great stuff too. I mean, and those angles, they present very strong arguments. They present very logical arguments. I mean, I agree. If something can be decentralized and governments can't come in and start reaching their fingers in, that is some good stuff. I don't have anything against that at all. That's good reasoning. That's good logic. But it's not good enough at all. And I should know that I realize those people have other streams of logic too. But all those streams of logic are still not good enough in terms of, hey, cryptos, it's just, you can't go wrong. It's going to be bulletproof against this situation and that situation and all these other situations, because that's not true, because we just had something, at least of the recording of this video, which offers a little glimpse into a situation where, and I'll have to use the extremes here a little bit, but let's face it, if your argument is, hey, Bitcoin is going to be fine no matter what extreme happens, such as, hey, you know what, the US dollar is worthless, okay, that's fine. That is an extreme. If we can all agree that the U.S. dollar being worthless, I mean, who knows what's going on? It's like World War III. I don't know what's going on, but I agree that can happen, and I agree. But we also need to agree, yeah, that's pretty extreme. If the U.S. dollar is going to be worthless, or any currency is going to be, not any currency, but a big developed country's currency, if it literally goes to being worthless, then okay, that's a pretty extreme example. So, I mean, if that's what your premise is, that's fine, but that's extreme. But I'm going to take something a little bit more extreme too, but really not that extreme, because like I said, we got a little glimpse of it. So what is this glimpse? Well, as of the recording of this video, we have right now the colonial, pipeline drama, we'll call it, where it got hacked, it got shut down, and no worries, I'm not gonna like some sort of imply, well, the US dollar can't get hacked. And that's not where I'm going. That's not gonna be the argument on why the US dollar is better. But the point here being is I want to focus on some key words here. So gas, okay? And of course, when things get hacked and the gas stop flowing, well, what are you gonna have? Well, you're gonna have shortages. And then you're going to have people, when there are shortages because there's no gas, people start to scramble. For what are they scrambling for? Well, what kind of routes? Fuel routes. And then, there's an article just seeing all the effects. And the effects were basically people started to freak out. And the interesting thing here is, what were they freaking out about? And to better put, let's do this. Let's remove the US dollar. And let's put Bitcoin in place. So in my little made-up world right now, where people are freaking out, where prices are spiking, where all this stuff is occurring, but there's no more US dollar. There's just Bitcoin. Everybody has Bitcoin or whatever cryptocurrency of your choosing. Does that do anything for the freaking out? Actually, what does that do for the freaking out? Get the things wrapped around. I mean, you saw, if you watch the news at all, and again, if you're watching this months from now on the news, there's people. It looks like the 1970s. With those gas shortages, people wrapped around the block. Gas is like we're out. I mean, just it's pretty crazy. It's pretty shocking to see how people are behaving when this has all been going on, and you just watch the news and you're like, wow. But again, in my world, how does Bitcoin fix that? It doesn't. No cryptocurrency fixes what we're watching on the news. Why doesn't it fix anything? Well, because if there's nothing to buy, what good is Bitcoin? I'll say that again. If there's nothing to purchase, if there's nothing there to buy in this real world example, if there's no gas, so you pull up to a gas station, your Bitcoin digital wallet in place, and you pull up and the person walks out and puts a sign there that says sold out. How good is your Bitcoin at that exact moment in time? It's worthless. There is nothing for you to buy. So that is a flaw within Bitcoin. That is a flaw within cryptocurrency. But let's just flip things around real quick. Let's say that somehow, and again, and I'll apply this to the US dollar too, but somehow US dollar gone. Bitcoin gone. But there's gas right there. Is there any value in this situation? Well, you can say, well, yeah, well, Clay, there is value. There's still gas there. Now, granted, in your bizarre situation, people aren't going to be able to purchase the gas, but there is still gas there. Like there's something there. There's something that you can go up and touch, right? You don't want to light a match or anything, but there's still something there that you can touch. Why? Well, because what did I underline? Gas, it's something. It's tangible, right? It's a commodity. So there is something that has played out that gives a commodity a value. And it's the ability to purchase. It's just there. But could you take that gas and walk it over to somebody and say, hey, I have gas? That sounds, not because you just had Mexican food, not that type of gas, okay? But, you have, that was a poor example. This is now my example falls apart here because now I'm a child. I can't keep a straight face. But you could take a commodity and go and buy another commodity. There we go. I'll just leave it at that. But do you see where I'm headed with all this? Is I'm not saying that there's no value in crypto. I'm not saying that there's not any value in Bitcoin. But to just sit there and think that there's nothing that can happen and everything will be okay is, well, no. If in a worst case, in extreme situations, things get really, really bad. So let's just take it to a situation, back to here, and let's just say extreme situation. I mean, economies are falling apart, inflation is rampant, and things are just getting absolutely crazy. And now you have Bitcoin and you have a paper dollar bill. The paper dollar bill in your hand. You know what? The value of that dollar may be worthless. The value of it in terms of I can't really go and buy this. But you know what? If you had Mexican food and you had to go to the bathroom because you had gas, there we go. See? Is there value now? What is the value in that situation? Bitcoin versus a piece of paper. There's some piece of paper in terms of as far as the bathroom, right? If there's no toilet paper, at least you got your dollar bill. So in this situation, the dollar bill is way more valuable than Bitcoin. Now, I'm not saying that this is what's going to happen. Of course, I'm taking a very, hopefully somewhat comical, maybe childish example there. But truly, at the core, and this gas shortage shows, there's nothing for you to buy, then the US dollar is worthless, just as Bitcoin would be worthless. Currencies, whether they're limited in supply, whether they're decentralized, whether they're anything, if there is nothing to buy, then there's no value there in the first place. Whereas if you buy some dirt, or in other words, if you invest in a piece of real estate, and all my bizarre things go on, right? Oh, the US dollar's gone. Oh, Bitcoin's gone. All this just random stuff. Well, what do you have? Well, you still have a piece of dirt, right? You can build a house there. You can build an apartment complex there. You can farm it. You can get some livestock. There's a lot of things you can do to just generate because, well, it's actually something. Whereas a US dollar is just something. It's a piece of paper, right? But Bitcoin is literally it's not even a piece of paper. Like if you have the Mexican food and you got to go to the bathroom, and then you because you want to be a sanitary individual, that piece of paper, although it may be worthless, is actually valuable in that situation. And just another extreme example is, how good is Bitcoin if somehow the electric grid goes out and all batteries go out? Okay, it's a digital currency. Is there any value there? No, there's not. You can't even access it. Access your Bitcoin anymore. It's just little things like that is not a conclusion of, well, therefore it's a scam. Therefore it needs to be avoided. Therefore there's no value in it. I'm not saying that. I am talking and hopefully trying to persuade those of you that are just all in to just, it's not as good as what you think it is. Now, I like a lot of attributes of it, but to have that mentality is just you're setting up yourself. It's not quite like I said. It's not as it appears if you just stop and think about it. And like I said, this whole gas thing, I think, is the best example of, put yourself in that situation. If you go to the gas station and then they say, sold out, and you have Bitcoin, and that's the common currency now. It's a world of Bitcoin. Your Bitcoin is worthless if you want to go to buy gas, yet again, a physical substance, but that physical substance is gone. Okay, well, therefore, sorry. Have fun with your Bitcoin. There's nothing there. There's nothing you can get with it. So just keep that in mind. I want you to diversify. I want you to have Bitcoin. I want you to have a crypto, whatever your research leads you to, and thinks that, okay, I think having some funds in here to hold a form of value is great. But is it the only form of value? It is not. There are flaws in the system. There are flaws in cryptocurrency itself. And I don't want, just going all in, and just believing and arguing with anybody that implies even a little bit. Just, have a little bit of a, like I said, look at this example of the pipeline. I think that'll hopefully maybe open up your eyes a little bit. But that's my thoughts on it. So yeah, the US dollar is better than Bitcoin in, we'll call it the Mexican food situation. But like I said, the core point here is that there is still value in assets that you can physically hold, right? And just consider that within your, your wealth building approach, because at the end of the day, that's the one thing that we can all find common ground on. Hey, we're trying to build wealth. We're trying to preserve wealth. We're trying to preserve value. We're trying to hedge risks. And yeah, sure, maybe we disagree in the pathways to get there. Maybe we disagree in the asset classes to get there or the approach. But at least we're all cut from the same cloth of, we're not out there doing something that, we're all at least in that sort of mindset. And that's just me talking to you saying, yeah, just consider this. And I'm sure you could give me things to consider too. But at the end of the day, there's no way you can win the argument of going to a gas station. Now, of course, then you just drive to another gas station, and you're not right, and you're not wrong. But my point is, in just a very limited situation to explain a broader point, well, then, there are some things there that hopefully get you to think about some other diversification type choices. So if you enjoyed the video, and even if we disagree a little bit, I appreciate you just hearing me out. I appreciate you, listening, and that's where any sort of solution is going to come from, just hearing the other person out. So I really do thank you for that. If you disagree with me, and even if you still disagree with me and you're still listening, hey, I thank you. I would say that's a good sign of maturity there, that you can hear me out, disagree, yet still be listening. And I don't know, who knows, maybe right now you're telling me in the comment section how much of a scumbag loser. So maybe the maturity thing goes, I don't know. But anyways, I appreciate you listening. Appreciate you hanging out. Let me know your thoughts down below. Would love to hear from you on this topic. And yeah, just something to consider. But I had some Mexican food, so I got to get to the bathroom. First off, thanks so much for watching the entire video. Real quick, before you go, I want to invite you to a live webinar, web class, training, workshop, online event, whatever you want to call it, but it will be me live revealing to you what I've discovered that has allowed me to transform myself from being an employee to being my own boss, including how I had only one losing day out of 73 days in total. I'm going to cover 3 keys that have helped me
unlock profitable consistency within the markets. The first key is super weird, but in a productive type of way. The second key is super awesome because it quite literally is wired into our DNA as humans, making it very easy to use. But in a cruel way, this becomes a pitfall for many traders. I'll explain it all though, including how to avoid the pitfall that it creates for some. And yeah, the third key, when you hear it, sounds way too good to be true, but it's not, and I'll show you how it all works. Then at the end, I open it up for a question and answer session that is, again, totally live. Even if you can't make the live session, please still sign up as it will be recorded, and you can go back and watch the replay that I will send you. Click the image on the screen or click the link down in the description box so you can get the date and time and claim your spot, which I should note is limited due to the fact that this truly is a live event. If you have any questions, let me know. If not, I'll be seeing you soon.